Hey guys, J77 here doing a review of another premiere, and that premiere is A Gifted Man, which is shown on Fridays at 8 on CBS. I was watching it with a friend of mine. So she had it on. We sat down together and watched the show. At first, I thought it was a typical another hospital drama, which if I seen one, I seen it all. But this show started taking an unusual turn, which got me hooked to this show. I actually want to see more of this show just to see how the other episodes turned out. The show pretty much begins. He's doing a medical procedure on someone. It was a successful procedure, and my first feeling on him was that he was like another house. He really was rude to the people who want to thank him as he left. But as the show went on, I can tell you that his personality it really warmed to me a little bit. I really was really feeling this character more and more. The show really truly got started when he was jogging, and for some reason he heard a crash. And he looked around, but there was no cars there. And he turned around and he saw this like ball-looking, happy-faced, this very scary, eerie looking ball. Um, the show then continues, and I think he went shopping for some. I think he went shopping, and he bumped into a friend he hadn't seen in a long time. She claimed she just moved to New York, and there was embracing some talk, and they ended up being at his place, talking, reminiscing, and you can tell right there that he had very warm feelings towards the woman. Sad part about it is that woman happened to be a ghost, and this is where the whole show really caught my attention because now not only is this a medical drama, but it's also a ghost story, which to CBS credit, they seem to do a very good job when it comes to these shows. They had like Medium at one time, Ghost Whispers. And now it seems like they got this one, and I gotta admit, this one looks very, very good. Apparently, he finds out when he was seeing a patient, a tennis, I believe a tennis player, and she was suffering from some kind of aneurysm, and he wanted to run some tests. At the same time, he wanted to call the girl because he really was feeling the girl, and he finds out that she was dead for a few weeks from a car accident that he saw. He's actually bugging out because even though she was dead for 2 weeks, it was only the next day when he saw her, and he knew he saw her. He actually had a conversation with her, and it was like, wow, this actually really happened. But in any case, he realized that the person he was seeing was indeed the person he was with, but it was not what he thought it was. It was actually a ghost, and the ghost was asking for his help. And what ended up happening is that she ended up working in a medical office, but it was so unorganized, very unorganized, that she was very much afraid that without her guidance, a lot of bad things would happen. So he ended up going to this medical hospital, and he sees how unorganized it was, mainly because they don't have the resource or the manpower to really run this place properly, and it was shown in one scene, which I find it very interesting, and I find it very touching and surprising, that there was a woman with her children, and this kid was having some illness, and right away he knew he was being misdiagnosed. He knew just from the bat. And the doctor pretty much put him in his place, saying that this is this is not your doctor, this is not your client. You can't just come in here and do that kind of stuff. So she gave the call to the mother to say come see him, but she didn't know where his profession works. By the way, his profession, he basically deals with a lot of his hospital. It's like pretty much like House's hospital, very advanced. They have a lot of resources. It's the kind of hospital that you wish every hospital has. But this is one of the hospitals that really treats the very, very, rich or pretty much powerful people who has the insurance to get covered. This is not a hospital that an average Joe will go into. But anyway, he treats, or he gives him the right treatment at first. He wasn't going to treat them first, but he ended up treating. He ended up driving these people to his hospital where he can get proper treatment and proper diagnose, and they do. But that doesn't stop him for flipping out, because he's like, something's not right. He gives himself a CAT scan and realizing he doesn't have a tumor, he's not going crazy, and he sees the woman again, and it turns out this woman is more than just a ghost. It's more like a guardian angel, or pretty much, who's trying to guide him to a more better path in terms of his practice. I could be wrong, but then again, the other episodes would pretty much clear that up more. Like I said, this is just one episode, and to be very fair, it's actually just started. But in terms of that, great start. In the end, the tennis player who he originally was treating lied about the diagnosis, because he told them that, look, we can get this, if we did it now, we can treat it, she can make recovery, but she's going to have to not play tennis for a few months. And they chose, stupidly by the way, to go with the other alternative, which just wait it out and until the term is over, which unfortunately, doctor told him that, look, your risk is higher if you don't treat it right away. The girl who's like 17, 18, actually didn't tell him, his true symptoms, and that was because she really felt that her tournament was more important than her health, which actually came back to the bite in the end during the show. She ended up almost dying, pretty much, because of her stubbornness, and because of, I don't know if a father or trainer, but it was someone who was really encouraged her to just wait until the tournament's finished, and it ended up almost killing her. Luckily, he was able to treat her in time, but there was something else that happened in the show that pretty much, excuse me, changed his opinion on treating patients, because, like I said, the kid was still a factor there. The mother wanted him to treat the kid, which turned out he had I think a ruptured disc and he needed to be removed, and which even though they didn't have the insurance for it, he was willing to pay for the insurance to get it done, but he really wasn't wanting to treat the kid. But like I said, he had the ghost who he knew was really much encouraging, saying that he's the only one that can do it. He's the best one for the job. He ended up trying to get rid of this the spirit that's been basically haunting him. He went to see some kind of I think voodoo doctor to try and get it done. At first he said, no, I'm not going to do it. But because of all the stuff that's happening, especially with the incident with his friend, which I'm sorry I didn't mention earlier, he had a friend that was really twisted. I mean, he looked like he was getting too many fights, he was getting beat up a lot. I mean, he was really twisted. He also was a factor in his decision making as well. But during the end, when the girl finally, woken up from the operation, instead of being grateful for that she has a life, she was really bitchy about the fact that she's now grounded. She can't play tennis for like a few months. She's not appreciated at all, and she's like, talking about, I should have played and everything else, and I wanted to be the top #1. And it was clear that her mind was not in the right place. And he said, look, you came this close away from dying. And she's like, I don't care, it doesn't really mean anything else. I would have died and not to be the grand champion and stuff. And I really was very, very pissed off. And me and my friend who was watching this said, how can, that's very, very upsetting to see that, because it's like you're shaking your head and like, how can this girl think that way when she almost lost her life? Life is 10 times important than any tennis match you can ever come across to. But on the brighter side, it made him realize the difference of different patients, and that pretty much convinced him that, hey, you know what? Let me operate on this kid. This kid, at least he's appreciated. At least the mother is thankful, and he did operate on the kid. Now, me and my friend had a little debate saying this is the difference between class. I don't think it's pretty much the difference between class, but it does show the difference of appreciation that does with different patients. Not everybody is very appreciative of the life they have. because their mind is somewhere else, and they're not really, their mind is not really in the right best of place. That's what I got of it. So I don't think that it has anything to do with the class of the rich, because I'm pretty much sure that if there's any other athlete like that, they're pretty much grateful that they're still alive. I know a lot of people who went through a life-threatening injury, and playing sports again was the least on their mind. It was more about, can I live to see another day? So that was, if I have to say that's my only beef, I say, yeah, that was a little bit over the top, but and a good note, it did, at least convince him, I should really operate on this kid. In the end, he, once again, he's speaking to the spirit, and the spirit is saying, the spirit is not mean, it's not awful, but you can tell that he's like, I can't juggle this around, I can't live your life and live mine. And he tries again to get rid of the spirit, but in the end, he could not do that. He still cared for this the spirit, and he just couldn't let go. He could have easily let it go. Even the doctor said you could have easily let it go, and he knew that he didn't do it, even though he's saying, yeah, it's done. But in his heart, he's not ready to say goodbye yet. And pretty much it ended just like that, where you see the spirit of his deceased friend walking in the door with this big light, and he's smiling upon it, and the show this end with other clippings that I'm actually looking forward to seeing. Like I said, I was blown away by the show. I was very, very impressed with how this show first outing. I really was. This show does have a great potential to be one of the great shows that CBS have, and CBS, who once upon a time never really could come out with great shows to save their lives, has actually been the leading force of quality shows, and this is one of them. I think this is going to be a good show. If given a chance, I think it will have a nice long run. My only beef with this show, I can tell you, is, like I said, as the ending, how they betrayed the girl. I just want to say, not everybody thinks the same way as her. I'm sure believe if my life was like that and it's hanging in balance, I don't care what tournament it is, I'm thinking about my health first. I'm sorry, it's just not there. I understand that other people who does do that, who are willing to jeopardize their own health just to get that last bit of glory, but there's a limit that only a person could go, and she almost came this close to dying, and the portrayal of that, it was a bit mixed bag for me for that part. Another thing I think it was also kind of interesting, I want to see more about this, about how this woman came. I think it was his ex-wife or his daughter. I'm not too sure. I really, like I said, we was talking in the middle of that because it was a little bit not interesting. I want to see how that's going to play a part, and most importantly, I want to see what this spirit is going to do, how he is going to influence him as this series go full circle. It does make me want to go watch the show again. The only bad part about it is that when you watch the show, you really don't know his true personality yet. Like I said, when I first watched this show, I thought, okay, the first 10 minutes, he's doing what House would normally do. He's just not, you don't have the cane, he's not crippled, he's not being terrible to the people. But when you watch it, you see that he does have a heart. He does have a feeling. He does have a personality you can actually like. So I want to know what personality they're really going to give him. Are they going to give him a House personality, or are they going to give him a personality that people can love and enjoy, or are they going to give him a little bit of both? Because like I said, it did drew me off when they presented him like that, and then all of a sudden he was just like, wow, this guy's not a bad guy than I thought he was. So it's really interesting to see. Plus, I want to see, because he's in this very state-of-the-art hospital. They got every resource there. It's one of the hospitals where, honestly, you really need to have insurance. I mean, you're not going to go in there and just, ask for treatment. It's not going to happen. But I'm really looking to see what patients he take, because, like I said, he took it upon himself to treat that kid. He could have just easily walked away, but he didn't. And I want to know if that spirit is going to lead him to treat other patients who don't have the money, who don't have the resources in his hands, or, I'm kind of curious how they're going to do it, because, because is this spirit going to be his own guardian angels to do the right thing, or will this spirit just make his life more hectic than what it is? I am looking forward to it. Running time, I will say this, feedback, again, I think the feedback I have, and it's not just this show, I think it's a lot of other shows, they don't have much to say after the last last 10 minutes. It's like the last 10 minutes, it seems to die down a lot quickly. I'm kind of hoping they will improve on that. Just keep it going where it makes me want to stay interested until I'm like, oh damn, I wanted to see what happened. Oh well, I want to watch the next episode. This one just seemed like it's like a mini movie. It started and then it just ended and then it went to credits. Even though we know there's another episode there. So I'm really hoping they keep us into the very end of the show where we want to watch more and more of that. So that's the only thing I think that I have a problem with. Other than that, this is a good show. I give it my highest recommendation is 3.5 good stars. I like it. I thought it was great. Like I said, I actually thought it was going to be one of those another medical stories, and it's really not a medical drama as I thought. It's not one of those hospital shows. It's actually a straight up drama. It's mixed, but most importantly, it's really dealing with this one character. I really think this is basically going to be about this one character and how he deals things on a day-to-day basis. And as long as it shows that instead of making it like an ER or the other shows I've seen that was like ER, I think it's going to do just fine. I think it's going to be just fine. I think it has the potential. It's on a good slot. It's on a Friday. There's really not much going on the Fridays, so I think he's going to do okay. And it's new. I think as long as it's new and gets something original, it'll be all right. So 3.5. You guys may have a different opinion. You guys may have seen it. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Please leave a comment on the comment section. But this is my own feel about it. So until then, you guys take care.